So, compared to other mangakas, I would say Yuki Tabata is very good at utilizing his cast. Now, what I mean is that Yuki Tabata has developed a world in Black Clover with thrilling captains, thrilling characters, and side characters that throughout every arc somehow Tabata has always delivered and have shown that each and every one of them is useful to the larger story. And I can guarantee you that every single character Tabata has introduced, we know at least one part of their tragic backstory, we know the type of magic they use, and we know their grimoire, as Tabata keeps using that as volume covers. But with that said, Tabata still lacks sometimes when it comes to these characters he's setting up for future arcs. One of those characters is Charmy Papitson. Now, Charmy, even though we don't even know her real name for the record, is one of those characters I'm talking about, and in this video, we're going to talk about Charmy's origins, Charmy's new powers, what Charmy's going to do in the future, and what Tabata is setting Charmy up for. Now, with that being said, guys, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, my name is as always, and let's just jump straight into it. Alright, yo, jumping straight into it, guys, remember, we are doing a giveaway in this video at 1,000 likes, so be sure to hit the like button. Anyway, what I'm talking about is, for those of you that don't know, we don't actually know Charmy's real name. Charmy's origins, from what we saw in Yami's flashback, was that one day in the woods, Yami just randomly walked up to Charmy catching animals in the Clover Kingdom. Now, what we learned about Charmy is that she's a half-human, half-dwarf hybrid. Now, from what we've seen from the Spade Kingdom, from parts of the Diamond Kingdom, from the Clover Kingdom, and from the Heart Kingdom, is that we do not have dwarves in any of them. If we did have dwarves, dwarves wouldn't be such a common, like, oh my god, is that a dwarf? Because if dwarves did exist in the Diamond Kingdom, some of them at least would have been in the Diamond Kingdom army, and so we would have known about dwarves, and they would have known about Charmy. So it's safe to presume that Charmy, like Yami Tsukihiro, is not from this kingdom, from the kingdoms of the Heart, Clover, Spade, and Diamond. I believe Charmy is actually from a different kingdom, a kingdom of dwarves like we've seen in other fantasy manga. Now, one thing that leads me to believe this is that Charmy's magic power is actually through the roof. Even in her normal human form, Charmy is very powerful. She's on the levels of Clover Kingdom royalty, who we know that every level you go up from nobility, from civilian nobility, royalty, their magic power increases, and Charmy is one of those people with very high magic power. Now, one thing people underestimate with Charmy is her actual dwarven powers. Her human or her dwarf powers that let her increase in size and consume magic. This is actually stronger than anti-magic. Now, this might be a hot take, but listen, Asta cuts magic, and using different swords, he can absorb magic, he can reflect magic, but one thing he doesn't do is absorb magic, because, well, I mean, he can't do that, right? He can't use magic, but Charmy consumes magic. She directly eats magic and powers up based on how much magic she ate. This is how she was able to completely destroy Rill when he was elf possessed in the Elf Kingdom. Now, what I mentioned before, that this is also Tabata's problem, is that Tabata doesn't want to use Charmy right now because he's leaving Charmy for a future arc. Remember, Black Clover is set to be going on for probably as long as One Piece, so Black Clover could be here in the next 10 years. So we still have a lot of things to discover, but this is also a weakness, because not using Charmy, especially right now against Lucifero, is one of Tabata's weaknesses. Lucifero is using gravity. Gravity, at the end of the day, right now, is magic, Charmy could be a very, very useful asset in this fight because she can literally eat magic and get stronger. We saw when Zora rebounded the attack from Lucifero that Lucifero was albeit a little affected by Zora's attack. So if Charmy can endlessly consume Lucifero's gravity and use it back against him because she grows stronger the more she consumes magic, then Charmy's probably on the levels of Lucifero in this fight, if she actually takes this seriously. But again, we come to the problem that Tabata wants to save Charmy for a future arc. Now, at the end of the day, I would still prefer Tabata's writing compared to any other mangaka. At the end of the day, there are so many different characters Tabata has to balance out when creating the Black Clover world, and I'm surprised at how many he's used so far. But there are a few exceptions that go just under the radar and aren't used, even though their potential is very strong and they're being saved for later. One of those is Charmy. The other, I think you might have all guessed, is Leopold. We have not seen Leopold nearly this entire arc. He had a small fight in the Heart Kingdom. He then learned ultimate magic, and that's about it. Where is Leopold? Now, in the previous video I made, I said that Tabata is probably saving Leopold for the Fire Salamander, which would once again explain why Leopold isn't being very much used in this arc. But Leopold's powers are for a different video. In this video, I want to focus a little bit more on Charmy. Now, we know that Charmy can consume magic and grow stronger based on the magic she consumes. Now, the second power I want to talk about is transformations. If you haven't guessed it, Tabata is a massive fan of Bleach, and the best part about Bleach is Bunkai. Everyone in Bleach gets a transformation, and just like Black Clover, everyone in Black Clover is getting transformations. Now, Charmy's transformation turns into a dwarf, but that's not really a transformation. That's just her tapping into her dwarf powers and growing based on how much of her dwarf power she uses. A real transformation would be if Charmy actually fuses with the wolf, gaining mobility, gaining durability, gaining strength, and being able to consume magic directly herself to grow stronger. Charmy's powers could literally be through the roof. But again, Tabata is saving Charmy for a future arc. Now, I do want to discuss with you guys, what do you think Charmy is going to do in the near future? Do you think Charmy is going to come into this fight towards the end to assist Asta? What do you think of Charmy's powers and her potential? How strong do you think Charmy is in the current metaverse? And I'll see you in the next video, guys. Be sure to hit the like button as we are doing a giveaway in this video. I'll see you in the next video. My name is, as always, peace.